this is Andrew Hawnt. Thank you for checking out episode 16 of Compendium 2020. We are up to a story called Kill or Be Killed, which is my take on the slasher genre. I'm a big fan of the old school slasher movies, with Friday the 13th, Halloween and so on, but a lot of the more obscure ones I find even more entertaining, such as Sleepaway Camp, Slumber Party Massacre, Pieces, things like that. There's some really interesting entertainment out there that's just outside what you may be aware of with a lot of more mainstream films. But yeah, this is my take on the slasher genre. I like the idea of the bad guy of these slasher movies being stalked by the victims instead of him stalking the victims. So with Kill or Be Killed, that's what I've done. It's set in a forest with a serial killer being followed and hunted basically by a friend of one of his previous victims. I hope you enjoyed the story. Any thoughts, leave a comment below, and please remember to like and subscribe. Thank you again for checking out Compendium 2020. If you go to andrewhaunt.blogspot.com, you can check out where we are up to with the text stories, and I've just released number 28, I believe. Yes, 29 is forthcoming, and there's something special coming for 30. So please do keep a lookout for those as well on the blog. They will arrive on YouTube as well eventually on the channel, but for now it's the text stories only. But for now, I hope you enjoy Kill or Be Killed.
Kill or Be Killed by Andrew Hawnt. Jess knew he was getting closer. The forest was his turf, and she knew that he would soon be too close to avoid. She had to act. He'd been given the nickname Mr. Happy due to the smiles he hacked into the faces of his victims, but she knew he was really Obadiah Jones, disgraced military man, psychopath, killer of 3 of her friends and over a dozen other people. Jess was determined she wouldn't be next. "Come on, you sick bastard," she screamed at the silence as she turned to look back the way she'd come. "I'm right here. What are you waiting for? Get out here in front of me, you frigging coward." "Keep your bearings, Jess," she told herself. "The path is right there, between those trees, past the stump between those dead trunks. Don't lose the tree that looks like a claw and the stumps that look like sleeping lions. Those are your way out." The night was mercifully clear, quiet, perfect for catching a killer. Jess shoved her dark hair away from her face and pulled it into a ponytail with a hairband from her jacket pocket. From the other pocket she pulled her work gloves and quickly pulled them on. She listened. No footsteps yet, so she had a few seconds. She looked down, found the rock shaped like a shoe, and then counted 5 paces to her right, which brought her to a tree with low-hanging branches. She reached up and pulled the rucksack from its hiding place, quickly checking its contents as she did so. Present and correct. "Here, kitty, kitty," came the croak of a voice she'd prayed to never hear again. "Mr. Happy gonna wear your skin by morning." "Come and get it, Obadiah," Jess snarled. She grabbed 3 things from the rucksack and strapped it onto her shoulders. She pulled the night vision goggles over her head and switched them on. The taser felt good in her right hand. She fired it up. In her left was a claw hammer. She would shock him with the taser and then break every joint in his body. He wouldn't be able to run away again if his knees, ankles and elbows were pulped. He wouldn't be able to kill a prison guard and escape into the wilderness this time. The darkness became a world of murky green through the goggles, but they allowed Jess to see exactly what was going on in the dark between those trees. Obadiah hurried towards her purposefully, the crowbar in his fist. "I see you, Jess," he snarled. "I see what you're packing to. You planning to do a number on me. I'm impressed." "You can't scare me, Obadiah. You took my feelings away when you killed my friends. You're not going to do that to anyone else. It ends here." "That's a nice taser." He grinned at Jess as he got so close to her she could see the strange night vision black of his eyes. "Go on, use it on me. Make me feel wanted." She hesitated, her finger trembling against the device. That cost her dearly. Jones smacked the taser away and it clattered out of reach. He swung the crowbar, hooking the claw hammer and dragging it out of her hand. It hit the ground a few feet away, close but not close enough. Bringing the crowbar back round, Jones smashed the goggles, cracking her nose as he did so. The ruined goggles fell to the ground, and Jess went to her knees, staring at the gush of blood from her nose as it turned the dry grass red beneath her. He brought the crowbar around again, aiming for her skull, but Jess was quick this time. She rummaged at the side of her boot and pulled the army knife she'd stashed there, ramming it into Obadiah's thigh and pushing until the guard met the dirty denim of his jeans. He screamed and staggered off balance, his swing going wide. Jess swiped at him with the knife, but he was too far away. Unfortunately, she was still in range of the crowbar. Jones swung it wildly, and while he missed her face, he managed to strike her left shoulder. Jess yelped in pain, backing up, the knife held out in front of her, stained with his grimy blood. "I know your secret," she spat through the mess of blood over her top lip. "I know you haven't been working alone. Well, guess what? You're one-on-one right now, and this is between me and you, like it always would be." "Me and you?" Jones laughed and spat phlegm at the ground. "What makes you think I know you or care? I'm here for my kicks, Jess. I'm going to fuck you up and skin you. Might leave you alive while I do. Imagine seeing yourself with no skin. Imagine me peeling you like an orange. I'll make you beg for your next breath. Might put your face on, let you beg your own face. That's what you've got coming. You made me bleed. Let me show you how good I can do it to you." Jess focused on her rage rather than the ache in her shoulder or the raging pain in her nose. "Julie, Angela, Gemma, those are my friends. All those others, all women, why?" Jones toyed with the crowbar. "What do you want me to say? You're expecting an in-depth examination of extreme psychosexual behaviours in serial killers, sponsored by Jim's Carpets, special episode 11. You won't get it from me. I'm simple. I'm easy. My motivations are what they are. It gets me off. No troubled childhood, no psychotic episodes or drug use or whatever. I just enjoy it. That's why they struggled so much to pin down a motive. There ain't one. Same for my friends who help me, the ones that are around us right now." Jess caught her breath as noises from the dark all around her signalled the arrival of 4 other men. Each wore the same filthy jeans and denim jacket. Each wore the same red and green lumberjack shirt. Each was of a similar build and age. They all carried crowbars. "Say hello to the Joneses," said Obadiah with a broken laugh. The look of horror on Jess's face was delicious. "I like to think of them as my alibis." Jess's heart raged inside her, but still, she felt like her blood had frozen. All of those people dead, all of those investigations that had coloured her life with darkness for as long as she would live, all of them had missed this. Jones had never worked alone. "They look like you." "Quintuplets," Jones laughed. "We're living rocking all shit. There's 5 of us. We share one name and one life. Never gonna deviate from it. Why be anyone else when you can be Obadiah Jones? You're gonna die the only person who's ever known the truth." Jess gritted her teeth. "No, I won't." As the 5 Joneses lurched towards her, Jess slid off the backpack and grabbed what she'd been desperate to use, a road flare. She yanked the cap off, ready to ignite it. "You know what you forget about? What you never think about?" The Joneses raised their crowbars for the kill. Jess struck the flare and it blossomed into blazing red light, spilling sparks and smoke all around it as it lit the surrounding area. Those left behind. The Joneses saw them then, surrounding them between trees, crouching by trunks and even perched on thick branches. Men and women in their 40s and 50s. Men and women whose lives had been tainted by a gang of brothers. Men and women with guns in one hand, photographs in the other, each showing the smiling face of someone Obadiah and his boys had killed. The brothers span to face the newcomers, screaming at them and swinging their crowbars as a deterrent. Jess staggered through the ring of psychopaths, leaving the flare between them. It cast shadows away from them as its burning red core sparked. More light illuminated the forest as wave upon wave of bullets were discharged into the 5 men. Their faces exploded in chunks of burning meat, as heavy rounds found their mark. Bones and throats and organs were devastated. Crowbars thick with the dry blood of their prey fell to the ground along with their ruined bodies. Obadiah Jones was the last to die, and he managed to hold Jess's gaze as she emptied the other contents of her rucksack close to him. Petrol, rags, firelighters, 2 bottles. He held her gaze as she ushered the parents away. He held her gaze as she fashioned the Molotov cocktails. And he held her gaze as she turned his surroundings into an inferno. As his eyes burned away, he drank in the stench of his own cooking meat and that of his brothers. The cleansing flames brought silence as his nerve endings were destroyed, and his brain cooked in his skull. Jess didn't look back. Nobody